So I just came back from a screening of The Inbetweeners 2, which is a sequel to the 2011 movie The Inbetweeners, and also the original 3 series which aired on Channel 4 a couple of years ago. Here's my review of The Inbetweeners 2. So as I said, this is a sequel to the 2011 movie, and rather than the original director Ben Palmer, we now have the original series creators directing the movie, Damon Beasley and Ian Morris, and they do a fantastic job. We join the 4 hapless guys again, Will, Jay, Simon and Neil, and their sort of hapless adventures. This time we're going, we've left England, we've left Malia, and now we're going down under, down to Oz. Cue all the down under and, you know, kind of walking around the bush jokes. Basically what happens is it's a couple of months after leaving school. Some of the guys are in uni, some aren't. Simon's doing a sociology degree in Sheffield. He's got an absolutely mental girlfriend who he's trying to get away from. Will is having a pretty terrible time of things. He's no friends and he's trying to fit in and he's doing everything he can, but it's not working. Neil's doing a couple of odd jobs around the place, and they get an email from Jay, who has absconded off down under. He emails them, and in a fantasy sequence we're showing him living the high life in Oz. He's got a mansion, he's a resident DJ at a nightclub in Sydney called Revolution, and all in all he seems to be having a pretty good time. So the other 3 guys who are kind of in rainy England decide that what better way to I suppose you know, cheer themselves up, but heading down under, surprising Jay, and let the madness ensue. When they get there, they find Jay, they find that the mansion is a bit more modest than he had let on, and they also find that he is working in a nightclub but not as the resident DJ. So not to spoil anything, but the Inbetweeners 2 movie is one of the funniest films I've seen all year. I was a huge fan of the original 3 series and I love the original movie, and while this movie for me isn't quite to the standard of the first movie and the original 3 series, it's still an absolutely brilliant and worthwhile time. We get a lot of really hilarious set pieces going on here. For me, I found that the movie took about kind of 20 to 30 minutes to really get into things. Once they actually head down under and they kind of settle into kind of, you know, travelling around and sort of backpacking, things get a lot more funny. The jokes get a bit more even. For me, the first half an hour was a little uneven and the jokes felt a little bit forced. It's one thing that a lot of people say, that TV comedy doesn't always translate to the big screen, and that is true in many situations. For me, however, while the first movie, which I did prefer to this, did seem like I suppose kind of an extended episode of The Inbetweeners, this for me did actually feel like a big movie, but bigger isn't always better. For a lot of The Inbetweeners, the best parts of it are the more personal, the more kind of things where the 4 guys themselves are just kind of, you know, having banter between them and kind of, you know, I suppose just you know, having general fun between them and sort of, you know, talking about girls and how kind of pointless and pathetic all of their lives really are. The best parts of this movie are still the 4 guys in the mysterious girl Peter Andre inspired mobile virgin conversion unit, also known as Jay's car, and those are the bits which actually hold up the best. There's some excellent sequences in this, particularly the part in the water park where they go to Splash World. I will never ever go to a water park again and view it in the same light as I did after seeing this movie. Let's just say that, you know, having a race down the slide followed by you know, Neil, who's suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, makes for really funny kind of things, but also kind of makes you, I have to say, I was holding my sides during this bit. It was really, really funny. There's a lot of things in this which are excellent, but like really it is the lads kind of coming to terms with their own shortcomings, which is the best parts of this. Because as a guy who was a teenager at one point, I recognise myself in all of those 4 guys, for better or worse, and I recognise them in other people as well. So that's one of the great things about this, is that you can actually identify with them, even though they are quite pathetic and unfortunately misogynistic. Which leads me on to another thing. A lot of people go on about sort of the misogynism of The Inbetweeners, but I have to disagree. I mean, women aren't particularly depicted in a fantastic light in relation to this, but what you have to remember is that it's not misogynistic, it's more the depiction of 4 idiots who have a slightly misogynistic, you know, kind of, I suppose, perspective on things, which is how teenage boys act. I'm obviously, you know, I'm not into sort of, you know, women being degraded in any fashion, but, you know, you have to kind of, I suppose, kind of give them some leeway in this, because all the boys are portrayed as being absolute morons as well. all in all, I'd give the Inbetweeners 2 movie, I'd give it 7 out of 10. It's really funny. For me, it doesn't hold up to the standard of the series and, you know, the last film, but only just slightly. It's an absolutely hilarious film. It's very worthwhile. Definitely check it out. That's my review for the Inbetweeners 2 movie. If you like the review, you can subscribe below. Please do comment. If anybody has any comments in relation to anything they want me to review, anything in particular, please do. I'm getting a couple of emails at the moment. A couple of people want me to review a couple of movies on DVD. I'm definitely going to do those very shortly.